Welcome back, survivors. Today's in-game video, we're going to look at how to start a garden and get it to thrive, because you need to do that as early as you can in the game, because that way you don't have to rely on digging through trash and going here and there looting and trying to find a little bit of food, or eating just a single piece of corn or a handful of yucca. With a garden, you can be pretty much self-sufficient, even if you cannot seem to bag any game like deer or pigs or rabbits or the occasional bear, which is really hard early game. So start a garden at all your bases, and we'll look at how to do that and cover some tips and tricks regarding that as well. So let's roll that file. I'm on the balcony of the little cabin I've been working on for this series. I think I'll put the garden right down there. So let's get down there and start laying it out. Alright, I'm going to put it out here because it's far enough away from the cabin that the zombies won't really associate it with me, so they won't destroy it as they approach the cabin. I'm going to lay down a series of wood plates so that I have 10 squares, and I'm going to do that just because it kind of keeps things organized and straighter. You can just cordon off an area of ground and hoe it up and plant, but it tends to be kind of confusing if you do that. It's hard to know if you're going in a straight line or not. This ensures that I'm going in a straight line. I wouldn't do it if I was cramped on space, but obviously I've got a ton of space here. Typically, laying these blocks down will eliminate the weeds under them, but sometimes you will need to tear them out by hand. Make sure you're not putting your garden on top of a clay deposit. Check your map for a brown spot that would indicate clay. Nothing grows on top of clay. And there's the garden plot. Now I'm going to go over here and use my hoe to collect some dirt, and that's because I want dirt in my inventory, because dirt is just like any other block, and if it's damaged you can't plant on it. But if you have dirt in your inventory, you can left trigger with the hoe on the dirt, then it will repair the dirt. The same way, if you have wood in your inventory, you can repair or upgrade a wood block. Here's how this works. The first pull of the left trigger will repair the dirt block if it needs to be repaired. It may take a couple of pulls. The next pull, and you'll see visibly a difference, will hoe the ground. It'll jump up like that and kind of change colors. The third pull, if you have fertilizer in your inventory, will apply the fertilizer. Now, fertilizer is kind of hard to get early game, although you might get it by finding it. It takes a cement mixer or a chemical station to craft fertilizer, depending on whether you're using rotten flesh or human turds. But that will be another video. By the way, I'm using the right trigger to tear out the weeds here, and I probably should have just done it by hand. It would have been cleaner and would have caused less damage to the dirt. Now, the reason you have to hoe the ground is because that will double your production. Typically, you'll get one plant for each seed planted, and it takes one plant to make a seed, so without hoeing, you're not gaining anything. With hoeing, it doubles that, so if you plant one seed, you get 2 plants. Adding fertilizer will double it again, so for each seed you get 4 plants in return. Now, a fair question is, where do I get a hoe? And in this case, I mean the gardening implement. As with so many things in 7 Days to Die, you can either buy it, find it, or craft it. To craft it, you will need 16 pieces of forged iron and 20 pieces of wood. And to get the forged iron, you can either buy it, find it, or craft it. And to craft it, you'll need the forge, but that's the topic for another video. Okay, so the garden plot's ready to go. Now all we need are some seeds. So to get seeds, you harvest plants, or you can find the seeds if you're looting, but Typically you'll harvest the plants and then come down here and highlight it and then press the up D-pad button, and that will select recipes, and then go up there and highlight, in this case, corn seed, and then go select the number of seeds you want to make. Right now I am only making the corn, yucca, aloe vera, cotton, and goldenrod seeds because that's all there is in this region. What you need to do is range out and find the other seeds and then bring them back, and then take a full complement of seeds with you wherever you go, because the different regions have different plants growing. Some of the other plants are chrysanthemum, potatoes, coffee, blueberries, mushrooms. You can harvest snowberries, but you can't turn them into seeds and plant them. And one of the quirks about mushrooms is to make mushroom spores, not seeds, you'll need dirt as well. So just dig up some dirt. The formula for that is 2 mushrooms to 1 seed, but you'll do that and then end up with 2 spores. So that's a little odd, but it just seems to be the nature of the game. Coffee is another plant that's got some odd characteristics in the game. When you harvest it, you end up with coffee beans. Those coffee beans don't need to be made into seeds. You just plant the coffee beans directly, or you can take those coffee beans and turn it into coffee. So, strive to find as many of these plants as you can and get your garden started, and in no time at all you'll be able to feed yourself exclusively from your garden. Now that we've got some seeds, let's get these things in the ground. Well, tomorrow. Tonight's horde night. Well, it's a rainy, overcast day in the apocalypse, but I need to get these seeds in the ground because I am getting tired of eating those green sandwiches. Now, planting is a little quirky. You need to aim at the ground at about a 45-degree angle, and then click the left button, the left trigger button, to put the seed in the ground. You will typically see that green frame, but not always. When you see it, try and aim just below that front line that defines the frame. Sometimes you'll try and place the seed and it just won't go. And when it does that, step off to the side and place it that way. Like, okay, there it went, but step off to the side and it'll usually take. This one's being stubborn. Watch and you can see what I mean. There. See, if I do it from the side, it goes down fine. You can drop these seeds walking backwards, forwards, or sideways, and it doesn't matter. At first I walked backwards because I was afraid if I stepped on them it would damage them, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on them. Once the seeds have been planted, they need to grow for about 3 to 4 in-game days, and then we can harvest them. Something I should mention is that once the ground has been prepped, that is hoed and or fertilizer added, you'll never have to do that again. It's permanent. So that's great. All you have to do is harvest, replant, and harvest again. Let's move on to the harvest phase. Well, just great. It's the neighborhood crackhead. What kind of a world is it where a man can't just garden in peace? Well, it's a zombie apocalypse world. That's what kind of world. Alright, let me beat this guy's head in, and then we'll harvest. And once more with feeling. Alrighty then, back to gardening. Now, it's all been for this, and thankfully this is the easiest part. Just pick an end, go up to it, and hold down the Y on Xbox or the triangle on PlayStation and walk into it. Notice that it says I'm going to pick up 3 ears of corn. If I had not hoed, it would be 1 ear of corn. The yucca gives 2 per plant. And let's see what this one gives. This is going to be 2 as well. And the cotton gives 3 per plant. So remember, planting a garden without hoeing is a waste of time. If you plant a garden after hoeing, you're going to double or triple your production. Range far and wide, get all the plants and seeds you can, and before you know it, scrounging for food in trash cans will be a thing of the past. Let's take a quick look at what my garden's first crop produced. Look at the top row and you'll see I've got 45 corn, which you can use to either eat or use in various recipes and make fuel out of, 30 yucca, which you can eat or drink, 2 aloe vera that you can use for medication, 54 cotton, that can be used either as a cash crop to sell to the trader or to make fabric to make clothes, and 20 goldenrod. The goldenrod makes a tea that will cool you down and cure dysentery, so also quite valuable. Remember, this is only about half the plants available in this world, so as you explore the world, always keep your eye open for plants you haven't seen and harvest them and then add them to your garden. Alright, I hope that helped. Now let me know if you got anything out of that. Also, let me know what you would do different, or if you have any tips and tricks to share, please do so down below in the comments. Until next time, try and keep your blood on the inside. Take care, survivors.